5 apps that are collecting your data. Hey everyone, in this video we're going way beyond the basics and taking a real deep dive into iPhone privacy. We'll dissect the top 5 data-hungry apps, explore every relevant setting, give you real-world examples of how your data is being used, and answer your most common privacy questions. Get ready to become a privacy pro. This is crucial information you won't want to miss. So let's dive in. We've talked about the top advertising companies, but let's get specific and interactive. Which of these apps are you most concerned about? Google. Think about search history, YouTube activity, location data. It's all used to build a detailed profile of you for hyper-targeted ads. Instagram. Social connections, posts, likes, messages, even time spent looking at specific content. It's all fed into the algorithm to show you ads designed to influence your behavior. Shopping habits, browsing history, purchase patterns. They want to know what you buy so they can sell you more. ByteDance, which owns TikTok and CapCut. Videos you watch, content you create, even how long you linger on a particular post. This data is used to keep you hooked and serve you personalized ads. We'll show you concrete examples of how this data is used in real-world advertising scenarios and how it can be used against you. Now let's go through the process. Go to Settings on your iPhone. Scroll all the way down to Privacy and Security. Tap it to open. Here you'll see an option labeled Location Services. Open it. Don't just turn things off. We need a strategic approach. I would recommend looking for those specific apps and seeing if you have shared your location with them. Now, let's scroll down to Facebook. Find Facebook from the list of various apps. While using the app is slightly better, but they still get your location when you're on Facebook. Never is the most private. I would recommend switching this to Never for Again, these advertising-based companies. Imagine you visit a store. If Facebook has your location, they can show you ads for similar stores nearby, even weeks later. And how to clear your location history, even while using the app, can be problematic. If you forget to close the app, it might still track you in the background. We'll show you how to completely close apps to prevent this. Scroll through the list. Open Instagram settings. You might want to turn it off for that as well. And then go through this list. If you see culprit on this list, you might want to turn that off as well. Essentially, any apps that you don't need to access your location to use and properly use, then I would turn it off. So for instance, stuff like Google Maps. Then, of course you can't use Google Maps if you don't necessarily have the location services turned on. It's essential to using that app. So I do have it turned on, but I don't have it set to always. Keep in mind, it's only set to while I'm using the app. Go back to Privacy and Security and tap Tracking. Now, this is allow apps to ask to track your activity across different apps and websites. I'm not sure why anyone would allow a company to do this. Essentially, this means if you turn this on, apps that are allowed tracking will ask and be allowed to see what you do on the Instagram app or what you do in Google Maps, etc. Why anyone would turn this on and have companies be able to track your activity from one app to another app or one app website to another website. So make sure you turn this off. Let's suppose you're browsing shoes on a website. Then you go to a completely different website and suddenly you see ads for those exact shoes. That's tracking in action. Some apps try to get around tracking restrictions by using fingerprinting, including using privacy-focused browsers and VPNs. We'll compare the effectiveness of different privacy tools. Within the privacy settings, scroll down to Other Tools. Keep in mind that camera and microphone access are sensitive. Open the camera permissions. Go through the settings. You'll notice various apps here that might have requested access to your camera. You might need to turn them off if you don't use them. So for instance, DeepSeek, I don't need access to my camera, and you can go through this list and turn it off again if you don't need it. Go back and do the same thing for microphone. You might want to turn this off. Let's say I don't want Snapchat to have access to my microphone. I'm going to turn that off. Now, once you go through this list, make sure that your location, the microphone, the camera are turned off on some of these big advertising apps if you don't necessarily use it. Imagine an app you rarely use has access to your microphone. It could potentially be listening in the background. Even if an app needs access to your camera or microphone for a specific function, it doesn't mean it should always have access. Think carefully about which apps you trust. Now go back to home screen and delete the Facebook app. And then just open up a web browser and go to facebook.com. Now what you'll find is after you log into facebook.com here on your phone, you'll find that the web-based version will protect your privacy a lot better than a lot of times the apps will. So for some of these, you might want to just use the web-based version, for instance, going to facebook.com. Deleting apps might seem extreme, but it's highly effective. They're subject to browser privacy settings, which are generally more robust. Consider using a privacy-focused browser like Safari for even more protection. Open the settings and go to Apps drawer by tapping the Apps section. In Apps drawer, scroll down to S section where we get to Safari. Once inside Safari setting, you can see Prevent Cross-Site Tracking. You can turn on and hide IP address from trackers. You can turn on Fraudulent Website Warning and Not Secure Connection Warning. You can turn those on and at the very bottom, tap on Advance, where you see Advanced Tracking and Fingerprint Protection. I have it set to All Browsing. And then you can choose if you want to block all the cookies. You can turn that on and block all cookies that any website or company might want to download onto your device. Prevent Cross-Site Tracking blocks websites from tracking you across different sites. And Hide IP Address makes it harder for websites to identify you. Walk through the privacy settings of a specific app, Facebook or Instagram. Let's open the Instagram app. Go to your profile and tap the 3 horizontal lines to open App Settings menu. Here you can control exactly what your permissions and privacies are in the app itself. So for instance, App Website Permissions, open it. You might want to control this, which apps and websites have permission to basically have access to this app. Scroll down and go to the Privacy Center. And make sure you go through the privacy checkup to ensure within that specific app for that specific company that your privacy is protected and you're only sharing what data you are okay with sharing to that specific company. Many apps also have settings related to targeted advertising. And there you have it. Remember, staying private is an ongoing effort. Regularly review your settings, be mindful of the apps you install, and stay informed about new privacy threats. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth privacy tutorials and tech tips. Thanks for watching, and see you in next one.